Stop! Maulvi Sahab's marriage cannot happen! At the sound of a commanding and thunderous voice, everyone turned around. Sitting comfortably on a chair, Mustafa Khan was enjoying the situation. Maulvi Sahab's hand, which was filling out the nikah form, suddenly froze. On Irfan Sahab's face, expressions of displeasure appeared. Who was this boy who dared to stop Maulvi Sahab from reciting the nikah vows? Irfan Sahab thought hard. He was sure he had never seen this boy before. The groom, sitting on the stage, was completely startled. His face turned stiff. That single sentence had created an uproar and chaos among the gathering. Fuming with anger, Irfan Sahab stepped down from the stage and marched toward him. "Who are you? And how dare you ruin my daughter's wedding?" His heart trembled inside. God forbid, what if some terrible issue broke out here? Mustafa stood up calmly, locked eyes with him, and said, "Sir, I said this marriage cannot happen, and that means it cannot happen." A couple of young men, who seemed to be Irfan Sahab's relatives, rushed forward and grabbed Mustafa's collar. But then everyone gasped. Several armed guards had stepped forward, pointing their guns directly at those young men who had dared to grab Mustafa. Irfan Sahab's mind nearly collapsed. "Who are you? And what are these guards doing here? We don't even know you. What's your purpose in creating this chaos at my daughter's wedding?" Mustafa signaled his guards to step back a little. Then, walking forward, he placed a firm hand on Irfan Sahab's shoulder and repeated, in a voice as solid as stone, "Sir, I said this marriage cannot happen." In everyone's mind, only one thought was echoing. This must be some spoiled rich brat. Maybe he liked Rubab and had come here to stop her marriage. Irfan Sahab, almost in tears, folded his hands before him. "Look, son, we are poor people. Please don't oppress us like this. Leave us in peace." Just then, Irfan Sahab's elder brother, Noman, stepped forward. At the sight of Mustafa, the color drained from his face. He quickly fell at his feet, pleading, "Sahib, how can you do this? Please, don't destroy my son's wedding for the sake of your amusement. I beg you." Seeing Irfan Sahab's confused expression, Noman explained, "This is Mustafa Khan. He's the son of our mall owner, the elder brother of my boss. I work under them. I invited my boss to the wedding, but since he couldn't attend, he sent his son instead." Irfan Sahab nodded slightly, then pleaded, "Please make your son understand. Why is he set on destroying my daughter's honor and her future?" Mustafa looked at both of them with sheer boredom, as if the drama disgusted him. "Man, people here are so emotional and sentimental," he muttered under his breath. Just then, the groom Hassan stormed off the stage, grabbed Mustafa by the collar and growled, "So what if you're a rich boy? Do you think everyone will fear you? This wedding will happen, and it will definitely happen. Who are you to stop it? What reason do you even have?" For a moment, Mustafa froze. He hadn't thought of that. What reason did he actually have to stop this wedding? He couldn't just ruin the atmosphere for his own amusement. "Girls, hurry up! The groom's party has arrived." At that exact moment, Rubab had finished dressing and was about to step out. All around, the noise of the Barat's arrival filled the air. She glanced at herself in the mirror. A deep red bridal lehenga, heavy jewelry, and flawless makeup made her beauty shine like fire. Anyone who saw her today would be left stunned. Flipping her hair with a proud gesture, she smirked at her own reflection. "Let's see how you escape me today. If I don't make you surrender with my beauty and charm, then my name isn't Rubab." Gathering her lehenga in both hands, she spun around the room, giddy with joy. This was the day she had prayed and wished for, the day she would finally marry the man she loved. Just then, Iman entered the room. The moment she saw Rubab, admiration filled her eyes. "I swear, Rubab, today Hassan Bhai is done for. The moment he sees you, he'll lose his heart. If he doesn't, I'll change my name." Rubab smiled, taking the compliment, and replied, "I know. Today that stone-hearted man has to melt. I've tolerated his arrogance for far too long. Tonight, as his wife, I'll make him lose his senses completely." While fixing Rubab's dupatta pin, Iman muttered, "But honestly, he doesn't deserve you. Look at you, a goddess of beauty. And look at him, so ordinary, dark, and plain." Rubab jerked away in anger. "Don't you dare speak like that about him again. Love doesn't look at such things. You know I've dreamed of no one but him since childhood. And if fate is finally placing him in my arms today, don't you ruin it with such words." That was Rubab's nature, unpredictable. In one moment, playful and teasing. In the next, fiercely angry. And once she got upset, it took an army to calm her down. Quickly trying to fix her mistake, Iman smiled and said, "Okay, I was wrong. You two were made for each other. May Allah bless you both with happiness forever." By now, the dolls were beating loudly. Rubab rushed to the window. The very first person she wanted to see was Hassan. "How does the groom look?" A few minutes later, silence fell over the room. And 5 minutes later, Fariha nervously entered. Her face was pale with fear. Both of them were startled to see her. "What happened? Why are you so scared? Tell me, has Maulvi Sahab arrived?" Rubab quickly asked. Fariha didn't know how to explain. Stammering, she said, There's a guy outside. I don't know who he is. But he's saying this marriage cannot happen. He's stopped everything and he has many guards with him. Because of that, no one can do anything." For a moment, Rubab couldn't even understand what Fariha meant. Then, as realization struck, she rushed downstairs into the courtyard to see for herself. She could never accept Hassan in any circumstance. Until today, every obstacle that appeared, she had broken through like a wall. This marriage cannot happen because this girl is already married. As soon as she entered, these words slipped uncontrollably from Mustafa Khan's mouth. He had recognized Rubab at first glance. She was the same girl. On the other side, when Rubab saw him, she froze. The ground and sky seemed to spin before her eyes. She leaned against the wall to stop herself from collapsing. Was this spoiled rich man here today to take revenge and ruin her wedding? The scene from 1 week ago flashed before Rubab's eyes. She had gone shopping at a mall with some friends for her wedding. Her playful antics and loud laughter had drawn everyone's attention, as always. Because of her lively and carefree personality, she always stood out, and that day was no different. While browsing makeup products, Rubab cried out, "Oh Allah! These are so expensive. What, is makeup only the right of rich girls? Shouldn't there be at least some discount for us poor ones too? Rich girls are already so beautiful, and on top of that, they use these expensive products to look even prettier. Where are we supposed to go then?" Her dramatic lament made everyone laugh. The salesgirl, who had been watching Rubab's antics for a while, suddenly turned to her and said, "If you do one thing for me, I'll give you all these makeup products you like for free." Rubab's eyes widened. Blinking, she said, "Swear it. You'll give me all these things just like that?" The salesgirl smiled. "Yes, I'll give them to you for free, but you'll have to do my task." Waving her hand confidently, Rubab replied, "No worries. Rubab can do anything. Tell me, what's the task?" Looking around cautiously, the salesgirl called her closer and whispered, "That man over there, he's our boss. You need to make him angry. Say something that will infuriate him." Rubab looked over and saw a handsome young man busy with his phone. The salesgirl's request confused her. At first, she refused. But then, the temptation of so many free makeup products overcame her. Without thinking, she rushed over and stood before the man. That arrogant prince-like boy glanced at her sideways, as if trying to figure out which disaster had just landed in front of him. Without hesitation, Rubab blurted out, "Tell me, aren't you ashamed of cheating on your beautiful wife with this witch Nazia? Oh God, I've been ruined! I never knew my husband would turn out like this." Rubab's drama had begun, and her friends buried their faces in their hands. This girl would never change. Mustafa looked at her as if she had lost her mind. To add even more sensation to her act, Rubab grabbed his collar and cried, "I won't leave you! You can't betray me like this. With your wife still around, you'll carry on an affair with another woman?" Fury tightened Mustafa's face. His eyes burned as he glared at her. Seeing she had succeeded in angering him, Rubab decided to escape quickly. Her job was done. But as she stepped forward, several guards pointed their guns at her. Her legs turned to stone. Mustafa signaled the guards to step back and said, "This is between me and my wife. We'll handle it." The word wife made Rubab lose her breath. Forcing a smile, she softly said, "Look, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Maybe I said too much in the heat of the moment. Forgive me." Mustafa seized her wrist, leaned close to her ear and whispered, "Girl, you've made a fool out of me in front of everyone. Until you tell me who put you up to this, I won't let you go. You don't know who I am." Pointing nervously toward the salesgirl, Rubab confessed, "I didn't know you were such an important man. She told me to make you angry, and in return she'd give me all the makeup products. I'm so sorry. I acted foolishly without thinking and just made the deal." Mustafa turned his gaze toward the salesgirl, who was enjoying the scene and even recording it. Maham, so it was you behind this? Letting go of Rubab's hand, he advanced toward Mayhem, who quickly fled. But before leaving, she signaled to her friends. Rubab, drowned in humiliation, returned home by rickshaw cursing that girl in her heart. She barely escaped, and at home she never mentioned the incident to anyone. In the coming days, she was so busy with her wedding preparations that she almost forgot about it. But seeing Mustafa again brought it all back. She quickly stepped forward and pleaded. Look, sir, I know I joked with you that day, but you cannot take revenge like this. This is about my honor and my love. Hassan pushed Rubab behind him, glared at Mustafa, and said, What proof do you have that she's already married? Mustafa paused for a moment, then played a video on his phone, showing the mall incident, where Rubab herself admitted to being his wife. Irfan Sahab's heart broke as he looked at his beloved daughter. Rubab, eyes shut tight, screamed, This isn't true! I was only playing a prank with him, Baba. Please believe me. This man is lying! Hassan, boiling with rage, tore off his sehra and threw it on the ground. His face darkened. Uncle, see the result of your upbringing. I was against this marriage from day one, but no one listened. Now tell me, father, shall we leave or suffer further humiliation here? Noman Sahab turned in shock toward his younger brother, whose face had gone bloodless. Hassan abandoned the marriage and stormed off. Mustafa's mission was accomplished. There was no point in staying. With a signal to his guards, he departed with the same pride and authority with which he had arrived, leaving behind devastation. The groom was gone. The bride stood frozen in place. Gossip erupted among the guests. Had Rubab known that one silly prank would cost her so dearly, she would have died rather than commit it. Her entire life lay in ruins. Without Hassan, she couldn't imagine living. She felt the ground slipping from beneath her feet. She collapsed to the floor in a faint, and in that instant, Irfan Sahab forgot everything else and rushed toward his beloved daughter. Mustafa Khan, on the other hand, had done nothing improper with her, so by the time he returned home, he had managed to push the incident out of his mind. But 2 days later, while idly scrolling through his phone, the same video appeared before. Him, the one recorded in the mall with Rubab. A chill ran through him. Who could have dared upload it online? Within seconds, he pieced it together. Rage surged through his veins. He snatched his keys, jumped into his car, and sped straight to Mayhem's house. She looked genuinely surprised to see him arrive at that hour. What's the matter? You're never here this time of day, she said, though a pleased smile crossed her face. Mustafa didn't return her smile. Instead, he thrust his phone toward her and demanded in a sharp tone, Who gave you permission to upload this video? Maham blinked at him, startled by his fury. To her, it was nothing unusual. She had been running her prank channel for ages and had posted plenty of his videos before. Relax, she said, resting a hand on his shoulder. I've uploaded your clips before. Why are you overreacting? He shoved her hand away. This time is different. It's about her, about Rubab. If you absolutely had to post it, you should have asked me first, or at least blurred her face. Do you have any idea how fast this clip is spreading? Mustafa and Maham were not only cousins, but close friends. And he often helped out in her silly videos. But this time, something inside him snapped. Rubab should never have been dragged into this. His eyes darted around in search of her phone. When he couldn't spot it, he held out his palm. Give me your phone. I'm deleting that video right now. Maham scowled. Are you out of your mind? You're arguing with me over some stranger? I won't delete it. And even if you manage to erase it from my account, what about the thousands of others who've already downloaded it? That video is everywhere now. Mustafa stormed out, his chest tight with guilt. He couldn't stop picturing Rubab, her engagement already shattered, her world already fragile. Now this video would destroy her completely. And he was right. At Rubab's home, chaos reigned. The entire extended family had gathered, glaring at her as though she were a criminal. She had repeated her defense until her voice broke. Please believe me. I had no idea she was recording. She told me it was just a prank, so I played along. I swear I never agreed to this going online. Who even is she? I don't understand how this happened. Her palms were pressed together, tears streaming down her face, but no one would look at her with sympathy. Her aunt, delighted that the scandal had given her son freedom from this marriage, used the video as ammunition. Raising her voice, she announced, "This is proof enough. We always suspected something with this girl. Her father gave her far too much freedom. Now you all see the result." Irfan Sahab's head sank lower in shame. Rubab's mother, broken and exhausted, had no strength left to defend her daughter. The aunt pressed on, cold and unyielding, and now Irfan Mian. "You expect me to still allow my son to marry her? Never. I won't make an immoral girl my daughter-in-law." Her verdict was final. With that, she stood and walked away, forcing the rest of the family to follow. Left behind in silence, Rubab collapsed into sobs. Eventually, she wiped her face, picked up her phone, and once again tried Hassan's number. For 3 days straight, he had refused every call. At that very moment, Hassan sat with friends when her name flashed across his screen. He glanced at it with disdain and ended the call. One of his friends frowned. "Man, just answer her." "Maybe it's important." Hassan smirked. "What's she going to say? Beg me to marry her?" "No thanks." Fahad, shaking his head, said quietly, "She was your fiancée since childhood, and you know how much she loved you. Why humiliate her like this?" Hassan shrugged, eyes still on his phone. "You all know I never cared for her. It was my father's promise to his brother that tied me to her. Otherwise, what do I want with a poor girl like Rubab? I'm aiming higher, someone wealthy. Someone who'll bring a dowry that fills a house. Why should I settle?" The others fell silent. No one could force him into a marriage he didn't want. Meanwhile, Rubab opened TikTok, only to find her face haunting her again and again. Every other reel was her video, spreading like wildfire. She was infamous now, branded with shameful labels across her family and community. Her resentment toward Mustafa Khan deepened. With every passing day, she loathed him more, wishing she could claw his face if he dared appear before her. Her thoughts shattered when the phone rang once again. This time it was an unknown number. At first she ignored it, but when it rang a second time, she answered, half hoping it was Hassan. Instead, a man's voice said, "Madam, we're calling from a news channel. We'd like to interview you about your viral video, and we'll pay whatever amount you ask." Terror seized her. Without another word, she hung up and shoved the phone aside. Everything was spiraling far beyond what she had ever imagined. For days, she remained confined at home, sinking deeper into despair. Finally, she decided to return to the job she had abandoned weeks ago. She was a teacher at a private school, and maybe work was the only way to hold herself together. Rubab had once taken leave from her teaching job to prepare for marriage. At the time, she had told the school principal that her return would depend on her husband's permission. But now, with no husband and no wedding, she felt ready to resume her career. She dialed her principal's number. "Ma'am," she said, her voice steady but hopeful, "I'd like to rejoin. Should I start tomorrow?" The thought gave her a strange kind of comfort. Returning to school would bring a change of scenery, occupy her days again, and maybe lift some of the darkness pressing on her chest. She imagined placing her salary once more in her parents' hands, watching their weary faces brighten, perhaps even soften their hearts toward her again. But her principal's voice broke into her daydream, carrying regret. "Rubab, I know you're a dedicated teacher, but you're aware of what's happening right now. Your video has spread everywhere. If we keep you on staff, it risks the reputation of the entire school. I hope you understand what I mean." The line went dead before Rubab could form a reply. She sat frozen, the weight of betrayal crushing her. She had given the school 5 of her best years, and this was how it ended. Days blurred into one another as she locked herself away, refusing to eat, refusing to face anyone. Calls from media outlets poured in, demanding interviews. The pressure gnawed at her sanity. And then came another blow. Shahryar's phone chimed with a notification. When he opened the clip, his world tilted. The recording played back his own words spoken on Rubab's wedding day. "This marriage cannot happen. This girl is already married." Someone had captured that confrontation on video, and now it too had gone viral. He buried his face in his hands. The scandal was snowballing. Social media was ablaze with mocking captions, attacking both his character and Rubab's, their families. Honor was unraveling thread by thread. At Rubab's home, another tribunal of relatives gathered. Once again, she was dragged forward like an accused criminal. Her voice cracked as she pleaded, "Abu!" This footage, if it was filmed at our house, Then it must have been one of our own relatives who recorded it. There were no outsiders apart from that man. Irfan Sahab spoke up, weary but firm. She's right. The first video was different, but this, it was filmed openly in front of all of us. It could only have been made by someone from within. Her aunt scoffed, waving her hands dismissively. Oh, please, brother. That man wasn't alone. He came with a dozen guards. You don't think one of them recorded it at his master's orders? Ruqayya Begum nearly collapsed under the accusations hurled at her daughter. It's as if she's cursed, she whispered. Everyone knows she's innocent, yet no one will believe it. But the verdict came swiftly. One elder spoke with finality. We want no more ties with your family. We will not let our daughters' prospects be ruined by association with this scandal. Others quickly agreed. He's right. Better to cut all relations. Irfan Sahab watched his siblings and cousins turn their backs on him, powerless to stop them. His wounded gaze shifted to Rubab, a look that pierced her soul. Children truly are a test, he muttered brokenly before walking out, leaving her in tears. She had never seen her father so crushed, and it was all because of her. Meanwhile, Mustafa Khan was hounded with non-stop calls from journalists until, in frustration, he shut his phone off. He had already cut Maham out of his life, refusing to see her after the disaster. But Maham, unwilling to give up, turned up at his office anyway. The moment he saw her, anger flashed across his face. Didn't I tell you not to show me your face for a while? If you hadn't uploaded that video, none of this would have happened. She sat down confidently, ignoring his fury. I only uploaded one clip. The second one, everyone knows you brought that on yourself. You stormed into that girl's house. You ruined her wedding. Don't pretend you're innocent this time. Mustafa buried his head in his hands. I don't know what to do anymore. The guilt is eating me alive. I'm a man and still I feel trapped. Can you imagine what she's going through? Everywhere her name is dragged through the mud, sometimes tied to me, sometimes mocked outright. How can she even survive this? Maham stiffened, jealousy rising in her chest. Why did he care so much for a girl who meant nothing to him? She forced a calm smile and reached across the table, clasping his hands. Forget her. I came with good news. Our fathers want us to marry. It's the best solution. If we're together, everyone will stop questioning our families. Mustafa shot to his feet in shock. What, marriage? With you? How did that even come up? I have no intention of marrying you. Her face drained of color. What are you saying? We've always cared for each other. Our families want it. Why not make it official now? He shook his head firmly. Please. I've never thought about you that way. Not once. And don't talk to me about marriage now. I'll deal with my parents myself. They know what I'm facing, and marriage is the last thing on my mind. He lifted a hand to silence her protests, then stormed out of the office, leaving her humiliated. Back at Rubab's house, things worsened by the day. Irfan Sahab, too ashamed to work or meet people, had fallen ill. Whatever little savings they had were soon drained, and the family reached breaking point. Rubab realized the choice was no longer hers to delay. With trembling hands, she dialed one of the journalists who had been calling non-stop. I'll do the interview, she said quietly. Soon after, the announcement hit the airwaves. From the lavish drawing room of Mustafa Khan's mansion, the television blared with breaking news. Viewers, the girl at the center of the viral videos, Rubab, has released a statement from her official account. She promises to reveal the truth behind the entire matter very soon. Mustafa Khan's father turned to him, his eyes sharp. Well, son, what will you say now? Once that girl speaks, your entire plan of revenge will come to light. The family tension had grown unbearable. Do you realize what people will say if this spreads further? Our honor will be crushed, someone snapped, their voice trembling with rage. The real fault lies with you and Maham, yet that poor girl is paying the price. Mustafa froze. He hadn't expected to see her name tied up in this storm again. It almost looked as if Rubab had created a new account just to launch her own move. He turned to his father, his face pale. This isn't on me, he muttered defensively. I had no idea Maham was recording that video. She pushed Rubab into a challenge, and Rubab, foolish enough to accept it, ended up confronting me. Maham filmed it, uploaded it, and the rest you know. Mustafa Khan rose abruptly, his voice booming. Let's say I believe that about the first clip. But what about the second? What excuse do you have for that? You used that very footage to shatter her wedding. In it, she clearly says she's your wife. Care to explain that? Mustafa's throat dried up. He had no words. Even Tayyaba stared at him, stunned. I never imagined my son would sink so low, she whispered. Pain etched across her face. All for revenge! You ruined a girl's future before it even began! Mustafa groaned. Mom, please, not again. For days all I've heard is scolding. What more do you want from me? His father paced like a caged lion, cutting across the room. I don't care how you do it, but fix this mess. Talk to the girl. Stop her from releasing more videos. If she keeps pushing content out, this family's name won't survive another blow. His father's suggestion sparked a grim idea. Perhaps meeting Rubab directly was the only way. If not, she might sit down with news channels, and that would burn everything to the ground. Meanwhile, Rubab's mother, Ruqayya, sat with her head in her hands. Oh, Rubab, what are you doing now? Interviews? Why would you invite more disaster? Rubab's voice hardened. Enough, Ami. People are making money off my humiliation. Why should I sit here starving while they profit? I've spoken to 34 networks. Each interview, 1 lakh rupees. That's 34 lakhs if I give them all. With that, Abu can finally get proper treatment. And we won't have to beg anymore. And beyond the money, I want those people to feel the sting of what they've done to me. Her gaze burned with defiance, her words a direct shot at Mustafa. So yes, I'll make sure Mustafa Khan learns what happens when someone toys with a woman's dignity. The doorbell rang. Ruqayya shuffled to open it, only to freeze in shock. Mustafa stood there. He greeted her politely, but she wavered, torn between slamming the door or letting him in. Who is it, Ami? Rubab's voice floated from behind, and then she appeared. Her eyes widened at the sight of him. Fury blazed across her face. How dare you show up here again? Haven't you ruined us enough? Or did you come sniffing around for more content? Another video to destroy what's left of my life? Her voice dripped with biting sarcasm. Mustafa's jaw tightened. No one had ever spoken to him this way. He held his temper with effort. Listen, he said, his tone strained. My reputation's on the line, too. Let's settle this peacefully before it spirals even further. Rubab waved him toward the door. There's nothing to discuss. Whatever happens now will happen publicly. Media will hear everything. He turned to Ruqayya. Auntie, please talk sense into her. Both families have already suffered enough. But Rubab cut him off, her voice steel. No more deals. I've lost everything already. Now it's your family's turn. Ruqayya, desperate to ease the tension, signaled Rubab to hush. Come inside, Mustafa. Talking at the door isn't right. Though she loathed him, Ruqayya saw no other path but compromise. Soon Irfan Sahab entered the room. Mustafa began cautiously. Uncle, I know you're all angry, and you should be, but I swear my intentions weren't evil. That man your daughter was supposed to marry, he wasn't worthy of her. Rubab's eyes brimmed with tears. Memories of Hassan cut deep, but she stood firm. And who are you to decide who's worthy of me? Who gave you that right? Mustafa lifted his shoulders. I have my reasons, strong ones. But without proof, I know you won't believe me. We don't trust a word you say, Rubab snapped. Leave. Instead, Mustafa pulled a check from his pocket and handed it toward Irfan Sahab. Please, take this. It's blank. Fill whatever amount you want. Consider it my apology, a price for my mistakes. Rubab's face flushed with fury. Still flashing your wealth? After everything, you think money erases the damage? Mustafa left the check on their table and walked out. Silence smothered the room, but silence, he believed, was half consent. Surely they would take the money. But he was wrong. The next morning shook the city. Rubab's press conference blazed across every channel. Mustafa sat transfixed before the TV as she faced the reporters with fearless calm. Yes, she said, her voice steady. What I said in the videos is true. I am married to Mustafa Khan. I am his wife. If someone filmed our private life and threw it online, how is that our fault? Mustafa felt his blood run cold. She was lying through her teeth with absolute confidence. Even his parents exchanged suspicious glances, unsure now of their own son. A reporter pressed, and what about the footage of you in a wedding dress? What does that mean? Rubab paused, then smiled faintly. My family was forcing a marriage I didn't want. I told Mustafa to come and make them stop. That's all. The rest, you all turned into a circus. Her performance was flawless. No one could tell it was false. Another reporter pushed harder. If you two are really married, what proof do you have? Mustafa leaned back, smirking. Now she's cornered. Let's see her get out of this one. But Rubab reached into her purse and produced the very check he had left at her house. She held it up to the cameras. Here, she declared. His signed blank check. He gave it to me for my expenses. And isn't it a husband's duty to provide for his wife? The cameras zoomed in. Mustafa Khan's signature was clear as day. Gasps rippled across the press room. Inside, Rubab whispered to herself. Her victory sharp as fire. So eager to pay your way out of guilt, Mustafa? Let's see you pay your way out of this. Mustafa's world spun into chaos. Mustafa Khan showed up at Rubab's doorstep. She didn't look startled, almost as if she had known he would come. Come on, dear wife, he said smoothly, reaching for her hand. Let's go home. Instead of the fury Rubab had expected, his voice carried an unsettling affection. The moment his fingers closed around hers, a jolt raced through her body. She yanked her hand away at once. What kind of nonsense is this? She snapped. She was alone at home, and his behavior made her pulse quicken with both anger and unease. Nonsense? Mustafa tilted his head, that mysterious smile still playing on his lips. I've only come to take my wife back, with the entire wedding procession, no less. Rubab turned and her stomach lurched. Behind him stood a crowd of news reporters, cameras already rolling. Oh God, what is this madness? I thought he'd yell at me. Instead, he's dragged the whole world here. Leaning close, Mustafa whispered into her ear, his voice laced with threat. Weren't you desperate to be known as my wife? Then let's make it official. Otherwise, you'll trip over your own lies, and I'll make sure the police handle you. Her lips trembled. What exactly do you want from me? I want to turn your lie into the truth, he said coldly. You'll have to marry me, formally, legally. The blood drained from her face. Somehow she managed. Why would I ever agree to marry you? Glancing at the press, she squared her shoulders. Fine. Let them drag me to jail. Let them ruin me. I'll endure it. But I will never willingly tie myself to you. They were still locked in a quiet but heated exchange when Hassan walked up. Rubab's breath hitched. Her expression shifted at once. Ignoring Mustafa entirely, Hassan faced her with calculated ease. Whatever happened is in the past. I forgive you. I'm ready to marry you, he declared. Maybe marrying Mustafa was the worst mistake of my life, she thought. Hassan pressed on, hands clasped in pleading. I know you married him just to punish me. Come back. I realize now I love you too. Her parents looked torn, unsure what to believe. Before she could reply, a calm but cutting voice filled the room. A man like you doesn't know how to love. Everyone turned in shock. Mustafa was standing there, hands tucked in his pockets, having listened for some time. Hassan grimaced but turned back to Rubab, resuming his pleading. Mustafa's gaze swept the room. Do you all know why I stopped this marriage in the first place? Irfan Sahab stepped forward. To this day, I don't understand. What had we ever done to you that you would destroy her wedding? Mustafa walked closer, his hand landing firmly on Hassan's shoulder. Because just before the ceremony, I overheard him on the phone with a friend. He never intended to marry Rubab. He said his father was forcing him. His plan was to divorce her as soon as some wealthier girl fell into his trap. Tell me, should I have stood by and let this girl's life be ruined? A heavy silence settled. Hassan sputtered. No, uncle, it's a lie. That never happened. You know I only refused because of those videos. This isn't true! But doubt already clouded the air. Mustafa pressed further. And the second viral video? The one from the wedding day? It wasn't some accident. Your own younger brother recorded it and shared it, on your instructions. Hassan's jaw dropped. He had never imagined Mustafa could uncover that. For the first time, Rubab looked at Hassan with pure disgust. Whatever love lingered, she buried it for good. Some men don't deserve a lifetime's devotion, she thought. Mustafa's voice hardened. And one more thing. I saw you with Mayhem yesterday. I know exactly what you two are plotting. Let me make this clear. Nothing will break us apart. If I ever see you near Rubab again, you won't walk away on both legs. No arguments. You're coming with me, Mustafa Khan said firmly, clasping Rubab's hand and guiding her out of there. Back at the house in the quiet of his room, Rubab turned to him with questioning eyes. Tell me the truth, do you really care for me? Or is this just plain human sympathy? Her heart was caught in a storm she didn't dare name. Mustafa was slipping past her defenses, and that frightened her more than anything. He sat beside her, gently took her hands, and pressed a tender kiss against them. Before our vows, all I felt for you was pity, he admitted. But the moment those sacred words bound us together, something changed. Now there's love in my heart for you. I know that because of me and because of Maham. You've endured more pain than you ever should have. For that, I owe you an apology. I promise, from today forward, she'll never trouble you again. Rubab's chest tightened as her heart thudded wildly. Against her will, her mind flicked back to the very first time. She had met him, the day she had brazenly called herself his wife. And now fate had turned its wheel so completely that here she was, truly his wife, sitting in his room. I never imagined life would drag me to this place, she whispered. Since childhood, my dreams had Hassan's name written across them. But God saved me from wasting myself there. It didn't happen the way I wanted, but maybe this was always the path written for me. Still, because of those videos, I suffered so much humiliation. People never stopped to think before making a private moment. Public, never. Wonder how it will scar a girl or destroy her family. For a woman, her honor is her greatest treasure. When such things are broadcast for all to see, what is left of her dignity? That day, to protect myself, and yes, to teach you a lesson, I claimed to the media that I was your wife. I never knew that one lie would turn into truth. Her gaze lowered, her voice soft and uncertain. So unlike the Rubab Mustafa thought he knew. This fragile honesty stunned him. What's done is done, he said gently. What matters now is the road ahead. Tell me, will you accept this new bond between us? Rubab didn't even pause. She nodded quickly, her head bowing in agreement. Without thinking, Mustafa drew her into his chest, holding her as though he would never let her go. Her heart pounded so loudly she feared he could hear it. In that embrace, she surrendered completely, accepting the marriage, not as a burden but as a blessing. Allah's mercy disguised in chaos. Mustafa's voice softened, warm with affection, as love began to take root. Where there had once been only circumstance, he pressed a mark of his love against her forehead and drew her into his embrace, holding her as though the world itself might slip away. In that moment, their hearts sealed a silent promise. A brand new journey had begun, one that neither of them could have imagined, but both were now destined to walk together.